Welcome to the Val Bounce for our next episode, which is the preview for the last round of the Supercars at Adelaide. I'm Damian.
Woo! I'm Steve.
Welcome back, Steve, after your little sickness that I shared with you. So
Yes.
we're still in a bit of isolation. We've sort of been working on it to do it in our own homes, just to make sure we don't share too much. Not that you're that sick, but you're okay.
Double the data.
Double the data. Got all the cameras going. Yeah, that's our personal issue, trying to figure out what we do with all our storage, eh?
That's impressive. So in that little intro, I've got a splinter. There's some content for you.
Okay. Your desk? Is your desk fighting back?
No, it's my mat.
Oh.
I don't know why, but it's gone in on me there. That's all right. I'll get to that later. Back to the show.
Oh, I'm not sure how we'll edit that one. Okay.
Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for the welcome back, Damo. I appreciate it.
No worries. Yeah, so we've got the Vailo Adelaide 500 that is kicking off this weekend. And I guess what we'll do is we'll get into a bit more of the details on the Adelaide 500 a bit later. Let's kick off with some kind of results and some news that's been out and about. Yeah, you want to start that one off?
I can do that for you, mate. Look, let's start with what happened, or what was announced this morning, which was that Penrite has signed on with Grove.
Wow. Now, I must admit, that was a surprise, because everybody expected, because Penrite love David Reynolds. And
so much.
They have followed him previously, so that's good news for Groves.
It's definitely great news for Groves, and I think, no offence to Erebus, I think the reason Penrite are probably sticking with the Groves is they can see that there's a whole lot of potential in that team.
Yeah, well, I guess that is all upside. I mean, you could say they jumped off Erebus and now Erebus are looking likely to win it all. But, you know, I think it's good stability for Groves. I think they've still been trying to build up their whole organisation. So, that's good to hear.
Exactly right. And moving on with that, we've also had that Tim Edwards will be taking over Adrian Burgess's role. And if you haven't caught up with the fact that he got not outed, he's retiring, moving on, going to Team 18, I believe, if you read the rumours. It does. I think this is a good thing. Might be a balance of the force, if you will.
Well, it could be very much that. I'm sure there's lots of grumblings in the paddock if it ends up being Tim Edwards. I guess we sort of talked about the Adrian Burgess stuff on the last Supercars episode, and since then, he's effectively standing down. The rumours of him moving to a team has also cast a bit of controversy across the paddock, where some of the teams are saying, no way, with his knowledge and in-depth of all the data from both sides of the camp, should he be allowed to. But I guess we'll wait and see how that one unfolds. Can
we get to a NASCAR open style system? Like, I'm just over this secrecy stuff. There shouldn't be any. It's a parity formula. Like, other than your actual setups, let's just open it all up. Let's go racing, all fair, and just enjoy it. Because, like, Gold Coast was so good. Let's keep it going like that.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's been probably the biggest downfall in terms of how they've handled some of the parity stuff this year with the Gen 3 cars, is that it's all been kept locked in at Supercars, where it's a parity formula. Open it up, everyone should know, and then it's a nice, simple way of everybody keeping everyone honest. As soon as they opened up the data in terms of some of the stuff they're trying to do and achieve with the Mustang in previous rounds, it just cleared up and there was no contention. So it feels weird, but anyway, Tim Edwards will be, I think, a great addition there. He can be grumpy when he wants to be, and I think that suits the role perfectly. As what was, I think we were trying to clarify actually last time. So Adrian Burgess, his position is the head of the technical part. So
Yeah,
recruiting.
that's correct.
They're still recruiting for the. I think it's a director or something like that. So
Yeah,
people that
I
would
can't-
sit underneath. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember exactly what they named it, but basically, Tim should have, I think, another 2 people that will be helping in the process, which, kind of like what happened with the FIA after the whole Michael Massey incident, I guess. But, so it should theoretically be better. And, I think Tim's the right sort of guy for the job anyway, so we'll just see. We won't know until he's in there and handling it, and he might be picking up something where they've already made the fixes necessary, and then he looks like God, because that does happen occasionally too.
Yeah, well, these things are always done in advance, and I believe Adrian's still involved in the wind tunnel stuff that's happening at the end of the year. So a lot of the stuff will sort of already been done, and potentially with the announcement, maybe Tim will get involved in that, which will only help making the decision. So
Good.
Righto. So 500 rounds. 500 rounds.
What are rounds?
Well, a round is, well, I guess it, I don't know, does Supercars know? Is that your problem?
Yeah, that is my problem. Look, let's start by saying congratulations, Dick Johnson Racing, Shell V-Power Racing, on getting to, the first team to get to 500 rounds competing this weekend.
Yeah, it's a massive achievement. They've been in the sport for so long, so kudos.
They have. Yeah, massive achievement, and definitely not taking away from that. I will pick apart a little bit that we don't really run rounds because Supercars don't talk about rounds, but then they talk about rounds when they want to talk about rounds, and then we don't have round winners, we just have race winners. So it's a little bit confusing. Can we just get to a stage where we have a round, and then we have race 1 and race 2 or race 3 potentially on that round, and then have round winners? Why not? Simple.
Yeah, it has been blurred a lot because they used to have that round winner, as you say, and so now round is really the weekend officially. That's kind of the way Supercars view it, and then that's where it stops effectively. Is the round is the weekend, then it's like race winners from there, and we're going on to race, is it 27 and 28 for this weekend for the season, and so. The thing that I hate is that who won race 11? You're like, oh fuck, where is that? What is that? It's such a hard way to manage for fans and for the stats people. Yeah,
it is. It's just a bit messy. And look, I mean, I'm not. It's the way they want to run it, and that's absolutely fine. But I do think we need to maybe potentially revisit it and just get it back to a round situation. We don't have to have people on the podium to say, oh, they won the round or whatever. So, but there are round winners, and I think they should be acknowledging that. And then that way we can get to, this is round 12 or 13 or whatever, and race 1 and race 2. It's much easier to follow than, oh, we're up to race 27.
Yeah.
Well, because when somebody tunes in and who doesn't know about the sport, and they say, oh, they're qualifying for race 27. Wait, have I missed 26 races from yesterday?
Like, where does it start and stop? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the round and then having race 1 and 2 of that round would be much better. So
much easier to follow.
Yes, I know. We jumped onto the big negativity straight away.
I've done it again. It's my fault. I'm sorry. It's just because I'm crook. Right. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's the man flu for sure. But yeah, congrats to Shell V-Power.
Huge congrats.
V-Power Racing. So, right.
Massive.
Now, some other news. Let's move to the team Brad Jones, a BRT. They've got a departing driver, and they've got they've got a new livery with a departing driver. So how do you sort of feel about that? I think it was a bit odd seeing a new sponsor announcement on their last round.
I'll correct you on Blanchard Racing.
Blanchard, sorry.
That's all right. That's really easy to do. I completely understand, because especially when you look at it from the next point that we're going to bring up. But Blanchard Racing, yes, really cool livery. I'm liking, I mean, I like red anyway, but I'm liking these old school style liveries that we're getting a little bit, where it's more of that one colour with the actual sponsor standing out, opposed to a whole bunch of colours, a whole bunch of sponsor logos going everywhere, and it's really messy. So
Yeah.
I quite like it. I think it looks really good. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a classic case. Less is more, and all the classic kind of liveries that we've had over the years, they're always a lot simpler. Even if they've got multiple colours, the way they lay them out will be much simpler. You know, some of them now are just they're too messy. I'm really not a fan. But as we talked about last time, like the Hino was nice and clean, and I think this one has turned up beautifully. It seems odd that they wouldn't be running Cool Drive on the last round of the season, given that that's, you know, Blanchard's business. But, you know, sponsorship dollars, maybe a nice tie or lead into the new year where they have an extra car. Perhaps that's where it's heading.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like as well. I mean, I don't know. Do we know where Aaron Love is from? Is he also a South Australian? Because potentially maybe it's a bit of a thing for next year. I don't know, because I know it's a South Australian company, and I know that ties in with Hazelwood, but I'm not entirely sure whether it ties in with the new guy coming in Aaron Love. But look, I agree, it's a bit odd, but I'm sure if somebody turned up at your doorstep and said, you know what, we want to throw you X amount of dollars for you to sign up your car, you would say yes.
No, I don't want the cash. No cash.
No cash here.
Aaron Love's actually a West Australian, so
okay.
there won't be any tying on there. But if they're throwing cash, I guess they're always going to take it.
Well, this is the second. What was it? They had that battery. Was it the batteries or can't remember. They had the one at Sandown and so forth. The black car. I can't remember the actual sponsorship name on it. I should have done some research before bringing that up. But but yeah, that also looked quite smart. A similar type of thing where it's that same colour, really clean, really easy to look at. Like I just think they look good. And this is no different. I think it's a great looking car. Hazelwood's last time in the car, so he gets to go out in a car that looks cool and hopefully doesn't fence it.
Yeah, let's hope he has a good result.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Now, getting on to what I jumbled before, Brad Jones Racing and the departure of Jack Smith.
Jackie Smith. Boo, 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 boo. See you, buddy.
Jeez, I tell you, online there has been there are shots fired. There are people getting defensive. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's just considering for someone that, you know, by far is obviously a better driver than us. Okay, I'll say he'll be a better driver than us. Maybe only a little bit, but but. You know, he is always at the back of the field. He's never really been able to, you know, to push himself beyond being at the tail end. You know, and so for some reason, everyone's now, well, not everyone, a bunch of people are defending him and, you know, having a shot at people who are going, oh, you know, glad to see him gone kind of thing. So it's an interesting one.
As Aussies, we don't like fillers, typically. We don't like people who come in and have money to get paid to race, sort of thing. And look, that's not his fault. And you need money to be able to do that. So whether you're getting it from a sponsor or whether your dad is running a business that can potentially field you, he could still drive, right? I'm not his greatest fan because he never seemed to be able to get himself from that back to even the mids. He's struggled to sort of get there. He had the odd occasion where he sort of showed up, but just not consistently being able to push forward. And I know Brad Jones Racing isn't, you know, a leading team, but still you see, you know, his counterparts sort of in that mids to high section, and I kind of feel like that's where he needed to get to, and probably within himself as well, he's probably decided that that's, all right, I've given it a red hot go, I haven't been able to really progress to probably where he wanted to be, and the decision has come that, you know, he wants to stand back, and I'm sure he's got plenty lined up and he'll be quite successful no matter what he touches, and he'll probably be richer beyond belief than any of us, so I'm not going to give him too much crap. I'm going to wish him well, and you know, we might see someone who's been sitting in the second tier category for a long period of time step into that seat, Damo.
Yeah, well, if the rumours are true, we'll see what unfolds. But yeah, Zach Best has been linked to that seat, which would be a great opportunity for a kind of an up-and-coming driver that's been on the fringes for a little while and had some dabbles with co-drives, etc., and even some wild cards over the years. So, you know, I think that'll be a great spot for him to land if he does, and I think it'd be good for the whole, for Brad Jones Racing and that licence being held by Jack's dad, that it will give them the opportunity where Heimgardner and Forward kind of are in that top 10, around that 10 mark, just to bring up that other car, because it has been lagging just a little bit, so it'll be good for him.
And look, I mean, every 4-car team has a lagger, really.
Yeah.
Like, there's always that one car that, whether it gets less attention or I don't know what it is, but there's always one car that seems to sort of migrate down the back end of the field for whatever reason that is. I don't know, but yeah, definitely, I think, it'll be interesting. And, you know, if Zach is true that he's getting the seat, he's a very quick guy. We know he is, because he managed to get pole at Tail and Bends when he had his little wildcard entry moons ago. So let's see. He might stun a few and give Heimgardner and the like some trouble in the team. So good luck to whoever gets that seat.
yeah, that's it, 100%.
And so moving on from BJR, mate. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on track schedule-wise this weekend. Now, for me, it's a little bit hairy.
Well, I'm hoping you can just explain it so it makes sense, because it feels like we've got 4 days.
4 days.
Barely on some. What's happening with the track schedule?
So I don't remember. I mean, we've been to the Adelaide 500 a lot. I haven't been for a really long period of time. You've been closer to me, but I never remember seeing Supercars come out on the Thursday. Right, it was always the second category that was all day and like all the smaller groups. But we have a practice session, a single practice session late on the Thursday.
Just the one.
Just the one. And then we move to the Friday, where we have another 2 practice sessions.
Okay.
No, sorry. My apologies. I got that wrong. 1 practice session and a qualifying, which is for the Saturday race. That's on the Friday.
Okay. 1, then 1. Yeah. Okay.
And then after we've done qualifying, we're going to have a 3rd practice session on the Saturday morning.
Okay.
To then do a top 10 shootout, and then
so
have
still
the
got
race.
a shootout, and then we have a race. Hang on, the shootout for that race.
Yeah,
is that
correct.
Right? Okay.
So qualifying for that race is on the Friday, but we'll have a practice session on Saturday morning before the top 10 shootout, and then go racing on the Saturday afternoon. And then for the Sunday, we have all 3. So we have the qualifying, we have the top 10, and then we have the race, which is probably more regular to what we're used to.
Yeah, well, I guess the biggest call out, apart from stretching it out and having very limited running on certain days, like the big call out for me is that qualifying on the Friday and then having the top 10 shootout, because like you're going to have totally different conditions day to day to kind of contend with. So what normally the teams will do, will set up for the qualifying, they'll run through it and they make the top 10. They can then make slight alterations, and effectively there's normally a very small amount of time between those 2 sessions, so they don't have to reconfigure the cars or whatever. So how do we know, like, it could potentially throw out a whole bunch of mixed results, because there's a qualifying session here, then there's a top 10, and then you've got to change all your setups for the race. So it's a bit odd.
It is. I'm just thinking about that. And the fact that you brought up that, it's going to be could possibly be completely different conditions. I haven't looked at the weather, and I just thought maybe I should go and have a look. Well, it looks like it's going to be about the same. It's raining. Friday, Saturday, we've got 24 degrees and 21 degrees. And the Friday we're expecting 5 to 10 millimetres of rain. and the Saturday we're expecting 1 to 5 millimetres of rain. So,
Right.
So it could be raining this weekend, Damo, which probably ruins my predictions because I was just going out. It's Adelaide. It's November.
Hot.
It'll be 40 degrees.
Because that's what it always is.
That's it.
Okay, so let me just think about this for a second because we've got. Let's have a look. So the top 10 shootout is at 12 o'clock, so midday in the middle of the day, and then you got the race at almost 3 o'clock. Okay.
Yep, correct.
Okay, so that's the weather. So now thinking about the actual sessions though, on the Saturday, qualifying is at 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:05. And then we've got, 6 o'clock. So it's the last session of the day. And then we're going to go, sorry, that's the Friday. And then on the Saturday, the actual top 10 is at midday. So at worst case, you're probably going to have, I mean, the rain could be a contender depending on when the rain falls, but also your temperatures peak middle of the day versus the evening. It could throw up a couple of little unknowns, I think, in terms of the results.
It certainly could. And when we've got a championship battle on, the last thing I think Kostecki or Shane really want is any of those little unknowns. Which is far out. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Go. You're right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a very odd format, and I'm with you. I don't think. I think they should stick to containing those kind of events on the same day. I'm okay with the quali. Okay, maybe if you do the Friday, you do a quali in the top 10 and then have the race the next day. But I just think two similar sessions where they're kind of linked. It's a no from me.
Yeah, and that's where I think mainly my problem sort of lies, where you've missed a whole session. And it's not Bathurst, and you don't go different days for that. It's the Adelaide 500. Keep it consistent, keep it easy to follow, and all will be right with the World Supercars.
Well, speaking of all will be right, what do you think about? I guess it's a good time to kick off Parody Corner. Let's do a little bit of a wrap up on that. So this could be a really good test, and it's an unknown for the Ford teams of what those changes that have previously happened are going to, what is it going to mean on a circuit like Adelaide?
We won't know, mate, until we're there, but it's definitely going to be a bigger test than what Gold Coast was for these cars. And it'll have a greater effect, especially turn 8. We'll see what happens. I mean, I know young Barry would say that they have a massive rear wing on them, but I don't know if you looked at any of the shots. They look about the same size as the Camaro ones now.
Yes.
So I don't think they're massive, Barry. I think they're just aligned.
Agree with that. Yeah, because I was only looking in isolation between the old Ford wing and the new Ford wing, and then when you actually compare them, you're like, come on, buddy, it's not that much of a difference.
That's exactly it. No, I think Baz was taking the mickey a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
But look, it will be a really good test for all the Ford teams to see how they go. I do expect them to be reasonably competitive this weekend. We'll probably get a better judge of how they affect the tyre more so than anything else, which is what we're aiming for, right? We're trying to make sure that tyre life is similar between the two cars, because there's no sense in having one manufacturer tear a set of tyres up in 15 laps and one can run for 25. It doesn't make any sense. So, it'll be really good. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I think it'll be maybe as good a contest as we saw at Gold Coast.
Yeah, fingers crossed that it is, because I think especially, as you say, a great test of what has happened, but I think it should reflect reasonably well in terms of the changes for Ford. So fingers crossed it's all good for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, it has obviously been pretty quiet on most of the parody stuff. We did touch on some of the news about Adrian Burgess stepping down.
Yeah, he did.
You've got a bit of a hot take on that one, I think.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I think I can see the word scapegoat.
Maybe. Okay, so here's my thing, right? Yeah, we did definitely touch on Adrian leaving earlier, and I do feel like he's been used as a scapegoat just a little bit in this instance. I don't necessarily think that Adrian is the problem. I think he didn't have the right tools. He couldn't.
I agree.
He couldn't do it, like he could only do so much with what he was given to use, and in the end, because it didn't work, and that's squarely on Supercars, not Adrian, they've decided that, you know what, I think it's best you skip away so that we can save face, and add to the fact that you got a little misdemeanor in there in your little drink driving charge there, buddy. I think this is a good time for you just to go away.
Yeah, I actually wholeheartedly agree. I think the challenges he's had outside of his job, and then the challenges that Gen 3 presented, and as you say, they're squarely on Supercars, the way they manage it, the money they allocate towards it, and the way they go about it. It's they're trying to do like 1980s testing in modern era, and it just doesn't work. It should have been back in the last iteration of cars. There should have been wind tunnel testing. There should have been all that done, and it wasn't. And now we're at the stage where they have to do it. And yeah, it just makes absolute sense for Adrian to, under all the pressure he's probably had to cope with, for then now Supercars to put extra stuff and just say, without actually saying it, but just going, yeah, he's going to step down and sit there and, effectively utilise him as the scapegoat. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out post his departure.
Yeah, for sure. And, as I said earlier, if Tim walks in and all these changes are fantastic and he walks, gets held in this massively high regard, I think it'll be good for everyone to actually take a step back and realise that Adrian probably implemented a lot of what we're going to see. So, I feel for you, Adrian. I feel like you've been shot a little bit in the foot. But, hopefully wherever you land, if it is Team 18 or in some other form of the sport, good luck and we wish you well.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And, we touched on it earlier as well that, having an old Ford team manager, team principal, I think they're called. So having Tim in there, what do you think that's going to do to the people in the social media sphere? Are they going to feel like, the Ford camp's going to say he's bringing balance to the force? Do you think the Chev/Holden people are going to be like, oh, it's all biased now? Like, how do you see that one playing out?
Well, I think the Chev guys can be quiet because, let's be honest, even with Tim Edwards in there, it's still well and truly in Chev's favour for the media coverage and everything else. Let's be sure on that. Now, I'm not for 1 second saying that the category is biased towards one manufacturer. But
of course not, no.
I am saying that it's nice to have some form of balanced representation within that area. So I'd like to see more of that across the board. And unfortunately, we will never be able to remove one certain individual. But that's the way life goes sometimes. We'll just have to make do with the wins that we get. And I think Tim Edwards is a win.
Yeah. I think it should be a great result, and he's, as we've discussed now, he's strong enough in terms of his stature to stand up for certain things, and and to hopefully manage some of the challenging discussions that we'd be having at the board and the boss level, because goddamn, it'd be nice just to have just a balance. We're not asking for favouritism, just a balance.
Balance. That's all anyone wants, right? We want a balance. We want a fair fight on and off the track. Kudos to GM for the political wars they play, and they win them all the time. Well done to you, but it's not good for the sport. So let's get a bit of balance and let's go racing. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I reckon it's time to move on to Lucker's Luck Award. And you might be saying, but Steve, we haven't had any racing. I know, we haven't. But there's still one person out there that's been shafted royally like Larko was. So let's move on to Declan Fraser. Congratulations. You've won it. Larko's
I don't know, do we actually applaud? I don't know, like
it's not a good thing.
We're celebrating it, but it's not a good thing. Yeah.
No, it's not.
What happened to our friend Declan?
Look, Declan, you're an absolute legend, mate. You obviously won the smaller tier series and came up into what was a cursed car. It's the 4th car in the Tickford lineup, and you are collateral damage by what has occurred with that team, scaling back to 2 and not being able to pick up anybody else, drive anywhere else as a result. So sorry, mate. You have claimed an award that nobody really wants to claim, but I'm sure we'll see you somewhere around in the motorsport area because you are a handy little driver. And I definitely think in the right car in that field, you can definitely be a top 10, top 5 competitor.
Yeah, I really hope he picks up like a Porsche drive or one of those other categories. I don't want him to go back to the other supercar 2s and 3 series. But yeah, if he could stay sharp in a Porsche run, that would be great. It'd be interesting. I really hope that he missed out on a seat, and I hope it wasn't because of the delay in announcements or anything from Tickford's side. I really hope that he's been on the market knowing for some time and just didn't secure the seat, and timing wasn't right for him, because you'd hate to hear that if it was a timing situation that he just missed out because it was late in the day. But yeah, I'm sure he will pop back up, and certainly a co-drive, there'll be co-drive opportunities as well. So yeah, for sure. And yeah, as I said, just wishing him all the best of luck moving forward. And that brings us to our bit jumbled, a bit complex, but our predictions. Now, with qualifying, top 10 shootouts, race, we're going to try and simplify it a little bit as best we can. And we're going to pick the top 5 for the shootout, and then the race predictions. So for race 27 and 28. Yeah, so we'll do a prediction first for the top 10 shootout for the race 27, and then followed by the race one, and then we'll do the top 10 for the following race, which is race 28, and then the actual race prediction for that. All right. Do you get it? I hope so. We're struggling, because so we might be. All right, so yeah, this is a race 27 top 5 for the shootout. Yes. Who have you got, Steve-O? All right, mate. I am backing in our boy, buddy. I am full of energy. And Cam Waters is going to get the pole position. Oh, Waters. He's been teeting on it for a while. He has. It's a good opportunity. Okay. It's so interesting. So I'm also backing in, mate, the current championship leader, and who I think will probably bring it home as well, Brody Kostecki, to come in second for the shootout. I'm then backing our favourite clown, Mr. Reynolds, to line up third, and I think he'll be joined by his teammate, the amazing Matt Payne, who is showing some real speed now as we get towards the back end of this championship, and I think Shane will be niggling on all their heels in 5th, mate. What about you? What do you got? There you go. Well, I'm going to go a bit more traditional, although I have got one little variation, because I think he really loves Adelaide. So, first in the top 10, so pole will be Brody. I just think he's just on song. He's pretty good at Adelaide, so I think he'll take top spot. P2, Chaz Mostert. I think
Yes.
it'd be great for him. Not sure how I sort of feel about. I think he'll drop back a bit when we're talking about the race, but I think he's always good for speed at Adelaide. So yeah, got Chaz.
Nice.
Cam Waters in third, SVG Shane in fourth, and Reynolds I think will take out the top 5.
Well, not too dissimilar, mate. Look, I'd love. You and I are both Chaz fans. So I'd love to see him up there. I'm just Walkinshaw, man, at the moment, are doing my head in with this fluctuation that we've got going on. And I agree they are fast at Adelaide. I don't know. I want to back him, but I thought this time I wouldn't.
No commitment. No commitment.
If you're watching, Chaz, which I doubt you are, but I love you, man. And if we can ever meet, let's do that.
Yeah. What's your predictions for race 27 as I die? I thought you were the sick one. Anyway.
I am, but I seem to be, the antibiotics are doing me wonders at the moment, although I'm about due, so I'll probably need to do that.
Race 27 predictions. What are your thoughts? Who's going to take the top step?
All right, for race 27, I am predicting Cam Waters to bring it home with his big energy. We're going to get a win for the Fords again and get the third win of the season. I'm not counting the first 2. They just don't count. So I reckon Cam's going to bring it home. Brody's going to follow him closely, and I think Brock Feeney will take out the remaining podium position. But I expect to see a strong showing from both David Reynolds and Chaz Mostert to bring out the 4th and 5th. What about you, mate? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm just going to go with Brody again, Brody Kostecki to take the win. He's just, I think, he doesn't feel the pressure. He'll just bring it home beautifully.
Jesus had a good year.
Yeah, he has, and rightly so. I think he'll just bring it home. But Waters to come in second. Yes. I think SVG just trying to keep it, up there and give his championship a chance. I think he's going to come home third. I think Chaz and Matt Payne will kind of be in there at the 4th and 5th. I think Payne's been a better racer. He's done some good qualifying, but he's been really good in the racing. So, yeah.
Definitely has. As you can hear, I've been sick. Damo's dying.
What is going on?
But that's all right.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. We're on the home straight. We've done the last turn, and we're moving on to qualifying predictions of the top 10 shootout for race 28. So what do you got, Damo?
Well, if I'm on the right one, so we're top 10, race 28, the last race of the year.
That's the one.
I'm going to have Brody.
Backing him in.
I think SVG is going to find his qualifying speed to kind of try and keep the championship alive. He'll come in second.
Nice.
Then we'll have Chaz, who'll be the top Ford guy in quali. I think he'll be strong again. Then Waters, and I think Payne will have, as he gets it deeper into the weekend, he'll be able to bring home a better finishing spot in the top 10. What about you? What is your top 10, top 5?
Look, it's not too dissimilar, let's be honest. It's like you saw my notes and took... No, I'm kidding. But I predict that with race 28 that Brody is probably going to take the last remaining win, and I think it'll be a great way to finish out this championship year, in my opinion. It hasn't happened yet. And Shane will follow him close home because Shane's just like a dog with a bone. He's never going to give in. And again, picking up David Reynolds, I think he's going to get a podium, and we can see some podium shenanigans again. And then Cam Waters, my Mr. Energy, and Brock Feeney, because Brock, we know he's pretty good around the streets, and but he was no good at Gold Coast, so maybe I'm wrong there, but I think he'll have a bit of a resurgence and come home 5th in the last one of the season.
Okay, well, I mean, I must say I didn't really give him much consideration. I almost forgotten about it, to be fair. But okay, that's not a bad top 10. In terms of the race results for me, I'm going to stick with Brody, who will clinch the championship ahead of SVG. who will be doing all he can, I'm sure, to try and take that spot, but Brody's going to clinch it. And then in third, Chaz is going to finally get his race order in order. How about get himself in order, and Walkinshaws will get themselves in order with the strategy, and he'll come in third.
Yes.
Behind that, I think we'll have some more Mustangs, your Waters and your Reynolds, just to kind of round out the Ford parity discussion of they'll still beat us, but then everyone's going to be like, oh, but look who got third, fourth and fifth, man. Yeah, so that's why I predict that.
Nah, very good predictions, Damo, very good predictions. And just to clarify that I said that podium in the last one, and we'll talk about qualifying, don't worry about me. I still have a bit of brain fog and taking too much medication. But for race 28, I'm predicting that Brody will also bring home the win and the chocolates. Chaz Mostert for second place, because I just want to see Chaz on the podium.
Yes, that'd be great.
Shane will get third position there, and then I'll see the monster energy of Cam Waters come home in fourth, and Matt Payne to round out the five. So they are my predictions for this weekend. And
it feels like it's an episode on its own, just trying to get through the top 10, top race, top 40, I don't know. It's getting out of control. But
I need a
hopefully it made sense. Yeah, we definitely need a nap. I need to go die quietly in the corner somewhere. We've had a lot of videos. We've still got more to come, because we've done there's a Cars episode, which is like a car news, and the SEMA.
Yes.
We've had the F1. We've got the Supercars. And then next week, there'll be more of the same, where we do a bit of a wrap-up of Abu Dhabi from an F1 point of view.
The racing season. Done.
Well, I think that might need us to recover a little bit, but also we might need a whole dedicated season review one. But we've got the supercar wrap up as well. We do. So there is heaps for us to still do. There is. And yeah, I guess thanks for joining us on the socials. We are at the Valve Bounce everywhere. We are. Even now, I think on Twitter, which we're going to start working out how to use. X. Whatever. Yep. Thanks, we'll see how that goes. For nothing. Yeah. Yep. Just more confusion. We've had a confusing episode, this one. Oh, it's been good. But yeah, other than that, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Damo, and thanks to you beautiful people for tuning in. And check out previous episodes, as Damo said, and for more to come.